Hey guys, how's it going? Today we're going to focus on planting up the 4 esplanade urns along the west side of our property, and I have the most gorgeous plants to put in them. Look at all of this beautiful color, all the bright pink and purple, white. There is a perennial in here. We've got some phlox. These are not going in the containers. We may plant these today, and we may post them actually as a separate video. I'll talk about that in just a little while. And these are the urns right here. So the esplanade urn from Unique Stone, and they are on a pedestal. I can't remember the name of the pedestal, but they are separate pieces. We've cleaned them out. This is all fresh soil, and I have some bags of soil standing by too so I can top them up. And you can see we've already got our drip system run to them, which we fully tested this morning to make sure that they are working real well. Last year we had boxwoods in these containers, and I enjoyed that so much, but we had issues with our drip system. So the way our drip works over here, we had a sprinkler system originally in this area because it used to all be grass over here that we took out. So we capped all the sprinklers except for one, and then ran a water line from that one sprinkler to the urns. So they're on their own zone that we can run, but last year they got stuck on somehow, like something malfunctioned. We didn't realize it, and it totally flooded the pots out a couple times. And we actually lost the boxwood on the very end. We struggled a bit with spider mites with the boxwoods, and then a couple of them looked pretty poorly this spring. We just decided to clean them out and start with something new this year, and I'm excited for a new look too. I like to change it up. It's one of those things, I always talk about how drip is never once and done. You have to keep your eyes on your plants, and then here I am not really realizing what was going on with these. I just wasn't watching them close enough. I mean, I would drive by or walk by them and look, and I never saw them wilt, of course, because they were just sitting in water. And then all of a sudden they started to look really bad because they were starting to rot out, like all the annuals around them and that sort of thing. So anyway, I mean, whether it's a not getting enough water or getting too much water sort of issue, it is a good idea to get closer to your containers, really look at what's going on inside. So we have tested them, like I said. The drip is working really well now. And then we'll just have to keep our eyes on them a little closer. Also, evergreens are not as telling as other plants in the stress department. You don't really notice, or they don't show signs of stress until they are super duper stressed. Usually annuals will show it a lot quicker. So anyway, yeah, one of those things, but I am just so thrilled with all of this color today. And here's our soil standing by. That's what's already in the urns. I'm just going to need to top them up a little bit. Most of the time I like to start with 100% fresh soil anyway, especially if you dealt with an insect issue the year before. You don't want to use the same soil, even if you've like recharged it with compost and biotone, which is what we've done down at the community college where we've been planting. We've had pretty good luck with that, so long as the soil isn't taken over by a bunch of roots. If it's still loose and stuff, you know, we've just been recharging it. It's been working. But if you've been dealing with an insect issue, it's possible that eggs are still in the soil. There's still some insect activity, and it can just take right back over your plants. So best just to clean the whole pot out, start with fresh. And I don't know if you guys can hear it, but way over there, they're putting something up on the roof on that new house they're building. They're using a nail gun. A lot. I don't know how much you guys can hear that. Let's talk about these plants really quick. Oh, this is going to be so pretty. So our centerpiece plant, let's just go ahead and pull one of these out here. Okay, this is an unplugged pink salvia. I'm living on the edge here. It's living on the edge here. Please don't fall. Okay, so this is a beautiful plant. I used it last year in the ground and in containers, and I felt like I didn't put it in the right spot. First of all, I didn't start with them this big. And that's really the only reason why I'm using these along with a Vista Supertunia, because last year I planted these alongside Vista bubblegum, and the bubblegum absolutely took over. Now, not all Vistas act exactly like bubblegum, but they're vigorous plants. So if you start with a salvia that's only this big, that bubblegum or that Vista Supertunia is going to take it over really quickly, and it's just not going to allow it enough light to flourish or enough space. Now, I do have a Vista jazzberry, which in my experience so far, I haven't grown it long because it is a new one. It hasn't been quite as, aggressive as Supertunia Vista bubblegum. Plus, I'm starting with a bigger salvia, so I'm hoping that this year it's a better combination, because last year we could barely see the salvia coming out from the bubble gum. And then the other place that I planted it was behind a boxwood hedge along with some Russian sage, and it just didn't get enough light in that case too. I'm actually not planting any annuals in there anymore because there's not enough space. And that's what happens over the years. Like, you can get away with, in baby gardens, planting a lot of things, but as your, you know, evergreens and perennials and things grow and expand, all of a sudden there's not enough space or light for anything else to flourish if they're planted close together. And so you'll get to that year where you'd still plant like you normally have and then just don't have as good a result. So that's what happened last year, so I'm just skipping that one altogether this year. Anyway, it will be fun to grow this one again, especially because it's so big and gorgeous right now. So this one grows about 2 to 2.5 feet tall, 20 inches wide, a little bit more compact than other varieties of salvia, like Play in the Blues, which is one of my favorite. It's just an enormous plant, and it would look gorgeous in these urns, but I think having something a little bit more dense and compact will look really good. The other cool thing about this one, well, I like this pink. This is such a pretty pink. But the calyx, which is what holds the bloom on, so that little thing at the base, they're this dark burgundy color. So as blooms start to fade and start to fall off of the plant, it still looks like it's in bloom. It doesn't look like it ever needs to be deadheaded because the color it maintains is so darn pretty, and it contrasts the leaves beautifully. So that's what we've got for our centerpiece. Let me put this back. We are going to surround it with Diamond Frost Euphorbia because I thought that this would be a beautiful contrast and a beautiful kind of airy touch in there. And then we're going to use one of each of these Supertunias. So we've got a Supertunia Raspberry Rush, which honestly, if I had enough of these, I'd probably use 100% this, because I think it's a beautiful marry between, like, we've got the white here and the pink here, and then we've got both colors in that. I think it would be beautiful, but I have enough to do one in each container of those. We're going to use Supertunia Bordeaux, which is a favorite of mine, always has been, right there. Nice cool purple lavender color. And then the Supertunia Vista Jazzberry. So I'll put the purple kind of in the front and let those flank it so that it kind of separates the two. We've also got our slow release fertilizer we're going to add into the soil, and that's about it. I think we're just going to get these planted and then I'll show you how they look. I'm so excited. Oh my goodness, you guys, I love these so much. They're so beautiful. It's fun to see color in this centerpiece. That's why I like to change it up, because sometimes I'm in the mood for something just very peaceful and green, and sometimes I want some bright color. Oh, but this blend of plants is gorgeous. So of course we have the salvia as a centerpiece. We've got the jazzberry over here, the Diamond Frost Euphorbia, there are 3, and then Bordeaux and our Raspberry Rush right here. And of course they're all the same, so it'll be super striking. We do have a lot of perennial action going on in here. We're starting to add more and more, kind of focusing on purples and pinks and whites in this area. So I feel like this particular arrangement is just a really fun addition. I will be watering these in by hand today, and that way we can see if any of the soil settles. That does happen on occasion where I do need to add a tiny bit of extra soil just to make sure none of the root balls are exposed. And then in terms of further care, hopefully the drip system works really well this year. We'll be keeping a close eye on that. After hand watering today, I shouldn't have to hand water again. We do fertilize on a weekly basis, even though I put the slow release fertilizer in there. These are vigorous, high performing plants, and they do utilize a lot of food. So we try to do a weekly fertilizer schedule on all of our annuals. It doesn't mean it happens every single week, but we do try. And then anything that has Supertunias in it, we have to spray with BT once a week as well. And we have to do that. It's Bacillus thuringiensis. It's a bacteria that's naturally actually found in soil, and it affects caterpillars, and we get budworms on Supertunias if we don't spray them. And what budworms do is that they eat the buds on the plants, and they'll either create a bunch of holes in the blooms, or you won't have blooms altogether and you'll just have a green plant that looks healthy otherwise but no blooms. And we plant these for blooms, so we either spray with BT on a weekly basis or Captain Jack's dead bug works as well. Other than that, we just get to enjoy these plants. So excited about it. I'm just gonna take a quick stroll down the lane here so we can take a look, even though they are the same. I did plant a bunch of delphiniums in here that I started from seed that are purple. These are pink roses. Should be just a really fun area. Down here, we're really filling in. So there's the last urn, and then you can see, look at the flower bed down here. You can see where I focused attention. Anyway, that is it for this project. I'm really happy with the results, how all of these plants came together. I think they're really beautiful. We will give you updates throughout the season. I'll probably be posting pictures of them on Instagram as well as they grow and fill in. It's always an exciting thing to see happen. Now, I do have those perennial phlox and one other really pretty perennial that I would like to add to this area. We're gonna put that in a separate video, and it may even go up today, a little bit later. I'm not really sure the timing, but either way, we will see you in that video. Bye.